Right, I'm just learning through this Maimer, obviously a little bit ahead, and I have a lot of, I wouldn't say questions, but as problems, which I will not burden or share with you because that will take up the whole shir. So we're just going to go ahead, and I'm going to have to try and find out the solutions. A lot of questions. At any rate, so we'll do the best we can under the limited circumstances of your teacher currently. It's a very heavy mind. Yossi, have you heard anything till now?
No.
No. Okay, so we'll try and give a little intro. We're in the middle of the square parenthesis. In other words, the second paragraph of Is Dalid. We've almost finished it. Okay, so the general subject here is the Maimon begins with Balilah Hahu, that night. So in general, Lila, of course, means darkness, and who also means darkness. As opposed by darkness, I mean not present, not revealed. Who is third person? So when you speak in third person, him, they, and so on, the subject is not present. They're not revealed here. In Lashon HaKodesh, in English, we call that third person. The first person is I, second person is you, third person is him, they, and so on. Singular, plural. In Lashon HaKodesh, it's called Lashon Nister, interesting. In grammar, diktuk, third person is called Lashon Nister, hidden language. Why? Because the subject is the person you're talking about, or the object even, no, it's referring to people, is not present. So Lailahu means a double darkness. In general, that means there's one level of darkness that's recognizable that it's darkness. And there's a Hastir, Esther is hinted in the Torah in Parshas Vayelech, where the name Esther appears twice. On that day, says God, that's a double darkness. And generally, that means the darkness is such that it's not even realized that it's darkness. In the words of the Novi, they place darkness, they think that that's light, that that's reality, that this is good. That's a general overview. The point of the Maimah is the big chiddush that balilah hahu, that night the king's sleep was disturbed. Not the king on a deeper level refers to the Eibishter. So that night the king's sleep was disturbed, notwithstanding that Hashem's divine slumber is a response to our slumber. So since Yidden were in a matzav of spiritually of light lahu, not of just of darkness, but of redoubled darkness, and Hashem responds in kind, and notwithstanding that, his sleep is awakened. He brings from the previous Rebbe, Maimon Tafshin, 1940, who quotes from the Maril, the famous author and the father of Minhag Ashkenaz, who says, and we do this, what's quoted in the codifiers, that the reader raises his voice by the words "Balilah Hahu," because that's Teikvish on Nes, that's the essence of the miracle. And the deeper explanation is why, because despite the divine slumber, which is a response to a divine concealment, double concealment, a response to our state, Hashem awakens. One of the questions of the Maimah was, but wait a second, don't we learn that Alter Rebbe said that Yidden were in a state of Mesiras Nefesh for a whole year? So this is no miracle. This is earned and deserved. The Mesiras Nefesh is, it's a chiddush of the Alter Rebbe, it's not brought anywhere, that for a whole year, any Jew that opted out, that denied his Jewishness, would have been spared. They knew that the decree of annihilation hung over their head, and anybody could have opted out, and nobody did. It's one of the questions of the Maimer. That's a gewaldige thing. Now, true in the footnote, he said it didn't translate necessarily in a transformative life of observance, but still, the bottom line, I'm a Yid. Somebody pointed, I think yesterday, one of the hostages, or more than one, was given the choice of conversion And he said, I was born a Jew, I'll die a Jew, and you can kill me. I'm not converting. That's a gewaldige Mesidas Nefesh. So that surely, even if it doesn't bring to putting Rabbeinu Tam's film tomorrow, it's not a spiritual slumber. So you were in a deep state of arousal. So why is it a miracle that God is aroused? That's one of the big questions of the mind. Okay, that's the general context. So in the square brackets, we're just going to conclude it, and I have a lot of questions and problems. As I said, we'll just plow through. God willing, I'll come back. I'm not sure how, but come back with explanations or clarity. Akoponim, so what he says now in the square brackets is that in the Maimorim, upon which this Maimor is based, in the Maimorim, there's another explanation of Laila Hazeh. Once we have to go, before I go further. So, Laila Hu and Laila Hazeh. So, Laila Hu means a redoubled darkness. Laila Hazeh is not a redoubled darkness. This is darkness. So, there's a acknowledgement that this is a matzav of darkness. Yom Hahu and Yom Hazeh. Similar. Yom, which means revelation, not concealment, but revelation. It's good. So Yom Hazeh means revelation that's experienced. Yom Hahu is such a lofty revelation that's not experienced yet. And that's why the prophecies of the Vu of Geula is V'haya B'Yom Hahu. That day, because that's a revelation we have not experienced, as in contrast to Yitzias Mitzrayim, Gulas Mitzrayim, Matan Torah, where the Torah uses the word Zeh, Yom Hazeh. On this day, you were redeemed. On this day, Hashem commands you to observe the mitzvahs. Why Yom Hazeh? Because we're dealing about a revelation that is Zeh, that is tangible, that's experienced, that Jews experience, Yitzias Mitzrayim and Matan Torah. Yom Hahu is a revelation, true, but yet to come, currently concealed. That's the classic is explained till now. Now in the square, Yossi, follow that.
Yes.
Yeah, good. Okay, now, so in the square parenthesis means it's a parenthetical comment and not related directly to the Maimon. You can learn the Maimon without this, and it won't compromise it. As explained yesterday, round brackets means explanatory notes that explains what we're meaning. Square brackets, at least in the Rebbe's writings, it's unique to the Rebbe, the use of punctuation in all of its nuance. Square brackets means it's a parenthetical comment he wants you to know, but it's not the gear to the goof, the body, or the flow of the Maimon. And there are two square brackets, which I'm going to mention because they're significant, one within the other. So the first thing is that he points out there's another explanation about Laila Hazeh. So Laila Hazeh for us, till now, it's dark, but the redeeming quality is, the good news is we know it's dark. So we'll deal with it. Laila Hu means it's so dark, the darkness is so great, the confusion is so great, that people think that darkness itself is light. But then there's another Pirish, Laila Hazeh. It's another Pirish is like this, that it goes in Emunah. Yom Hazeh means a person's relationship with God is experienced, he understands it, he feels. But Laila Hazeh, Zeh means it's Zeh again means it's tangible, point with a finger, it's real. What's real? Here's Emunah, and this is called Laila because it's not, why is it called dark? Because there's no words for it, they can't articulate it in Seichel and in Midas. It's a deep sense, really, that comes from a deep place in the soul. So it's really what I'm looking for, it's really not a compliment, but a virtue. Laila Zeh is a virtue.
It's more spiritual than physical.
But it's virtuous. Maybe. It's virtuous. The point the difference between this Pirish and he's saying till now is that Laila Zeh is actually a Maila. The Beitzias Mitzrayim, Leil Shimurim, who we find expression Laila Hazeh as well, because they had not yet developed intellectual and emotional relationship with God, but what was firing in a very tangible, powerful way was their Emunah. Conclusion is it's a virtuous thing. And we're saying Laila Hazeh is a matzav of darkness, but it's at least you know it's dark. So the conclusion of that is we're just going to finish. Before I get to that, square brackets within the square brackets. So it's a virtuous thing. Laila zeh emunah is powerful. So how do we bring out the emunah in a powerful way? So there's two ways. Well, actually, it's all hinted to in the same words. The Yidden, this is the night of the Exodus. Again, they're not developed intellectual, emotional, but they do have a powerful emunah. Those that went, many didn't. They refused to go. Those that did was Laila zeh. So what produced it is the Chaymer Ulevenim. They were subject to bricks and mortar. What does it mean? Pneumius, Kal v'chaymer, and Libun Hilchase. It's from the Zohar. Toiling in, so a Jew toils in Torah. Kal v'chaymer, Libun Hilchase means literally to whiten, like you whiten the bricks in a furnace to arrive at the final conclusion. It's not poshet, different opinions and so that kind of toiling in Torah, exerting in Torah, not an armchair study, but really sweating over Torah, brings out the Laila Zeh, the deep emunah that a Jew has. And then he says another pirush, and an extraordinary pirush in Pirkei Avos. And similarly, the Rebbe says, toil in Parnassah, like the literal toil that the Jews endured then. Imagine this. A Jew toiling in Parnassah is going to squeeze out of him a powerful faith in God. Gewalt. There's no source for this. But we're seeing this, was fine pointed out on the ground today. Many of our children in yeshiva weren't firing, weren't stars. They're going out in the business world and then become the big bali tzedakah and became, the parnassah is squeezed out. Who am I, machasid? What's this all for? What am I toiling for? What's the dollar for? All of a sudden it kicks in, chassid, promote the Rebbe's in Yonim. What's happening today? You know that. Maybe she should bring some more tremendous hatzlacha. I got plenty of projects for you. If you don't have enough of that you see yourself. So just worth repeating again, looks like a new pirush in Pirkei Avos. A completely new pirush. In Pirkei Avos Perek Gimel Mishnah, it says that if you accept the yoke of Torah, then heaven will remove the yoke of livelihood. And if you throw off the yoke of Torah, then heaven's going to slap you, burden you with the yoke of livelihood. It sounds like it's a reward and punishment thing. The simple level, which is so profound, is you got to toil. Life is not a bowl of cherries. So you're going to toil. You have a choice. Are you going to toil? What's going to keep up at night? In other words, what's going to vex you? What's going to really trouble you? A question on a Gemara, a Tosfos, a Maimer, that's your toil? If that's your toil, then heaven will exempt you from toiling over material concerns. If not, then they're going to give you material concerns. It's not like a punishment. Yeah, your choice. The Maimon is saying over here, almost chas v'sholem. No. It's one objective. Squeeze out your emunah. Here's your choice. It's going to squeeze out your emunah in toiling, learning, or it's going to come out in heaven's going to give you, not as a punishment, because we want to get you to the end result. To get to this deep emunah, I'm a chassid, is going to be through the toil in panos. You have a choice, which one? But it's leading to the same place. Not like if you toil in Torah, good. If not, they're just going to reject you and you're going to be toiling somewhere else in a different world. No, it's all leading to one thing. This is a very ridiculous thing. There's no footnote, there's nowhere else. I mean, such a pirush in Pirkei Avos. And that explains why, if you look at the Lashon, it occurs to me now, if you look at number 38, 38 is where the quote is from Pirkei Avos. If you throw off the yoke of Torah, they give him. The word give is always a positive thing, implying a gift. If this is a punishment, it's not noisin, it means they punish him with derech eretz. They subject him. Noisnin. Now we have the answer. Hashem is not letting us go. I want you to connect to me the deepest way. You're going to this way or go that way. It's all going to lead you to the same address, huh?
I remember the term in Pirkei Avos itself. Zerkin alone?
Noisnin, just reading it.
But Noisnin is.
That's what I'm saying. This is the dik haloshin. Noisnin, all of that. I mean, Uli Yeshleimer, but Zeh Yuvim will understand the dik noisnin all over derech eretz. We do find the word punishment in Pirkei Avos, nifroin. We do find. But even there, the word punishment actually means a price. It's also there. Also, the DB is a point of punishment. It's not you sinned, now pay for it and suffer. It's the sin at the end will lead you to tshuva, the payment in a more difficult way. That's the choice we have. In other words, I'm saying down this little within brackets, we're going to get there, friends, no matter what path we choose. It's going to be the high road or the rocky road, but it's going to get us there. It's one Eibishter, it's one Kavanah. Sins will get us there, even sins. And the MS even higher and deeper because the tshuva. Just by the way, yesterday I was sitting with Rabbi Bell. We've been asked to. It's a new project. They get two guys to sit together and discuss the sichos of the Rebbe and Tavshin Beis. The last. So it turns out that we did Kisisa, which is the last Mugga de Kisicha, because then the week later Yaakov Pekudei, and the Tetzaveh. Kisisa, yeah. After Kisisa, Yaakov Pekudei was the stroke. And Rebbe just edited before. He edited just the Rashi Prakim. There's no more Mugga. It's the last. My dear friends, it's unbelievable. We were going crazy because I hadn't learned it since. I have to admit, since back then. Like it's the last statement of the Rebbe. Like there's no wiggle room. Everything is good. Everything will lead to it. It talks about the Cheta Egel at Pashas Kisisa. How could it be? How could the Pasha be called Kisisa, which means lifted up? And the whole thing is a terrible story. Cheta Egel, and it's contradictions throughout the whole. Luchas Shnias, Luchas Achronis. He threads through it all. He makes three. He establishes there are three. Hashem established that everything has three parts: beginning, middle, and end. Basically, the mission statement, the whole process, and the final result. Aleph, Beis, Gimel. Aleph, Anoichi. Beis, Bereshis, Gimel, Geula. And he goes through like 20 things he maps on this Aleph, Beis, Gimel grid. All of history, all of Ishtalshalus, lift that tzimtzum, hit number 6. Sorry, pick it up, hit number 6. A few times so they can realize that you're doing it. A few times, just hit it again. They'll hear it now, it's open. Good. It's worth learning, friends. It's unbelievable. And there's no wiggle room. There's no, after this, no despondency, no getting everything leads, if the Chata Egel, there's a word over there, I'm going to throw it in here now. He says, you did the Tzerech Aliyah, that's an old principle. Every descent is to lead to an ascent. He said, that's true, B'chlal, for a Yid. That's not true. There's no Yid either. That whole matziv, that's a process, not in order to get to Aliyah. That is part of the Aliyah. Gewaltige Geschichte. And there's not a footnote there even to say where it says this. He just dismisses it. For a Yid, no, you didn't say the Chaliyah. It's all Kisisa. The whole life is Kisisa. Including Chet HaEgel, the worst Avedas. Avedas Zara. Every Avedas Zara. I push and pull the door. Hit number 6 again. Push and pull the door. No, pull and push the door. Yeah, you'll get in. Okay, sorry. Weiter. So Peter, let's pick up the text now after but the number 38, 2 lines down. So the basic question he seems to be asking here is, we see till now that Laila has, it's negative, not as negative as Laila, but still negative. But now we're saying Laila Hazeh is a Munda revealed. So according to this explanation, Belilah Hazeh, which is a virtue, his emunah is not seichel, not midas, but his emunah tzarich loyma. The Laila hu, to reconcile with Al Maimer, to reconcile with the pasuk here, Belilah hu, in the Megillah, which is not virtuous, and that's the whole miracle. Despite Belilah hu, not the Shas Melech, Laila hu means shechasa gam b'vadoisem. The emunah is not manifest, not certain. The emunah is shaky. Okay, we still have to answer, how does that jive with Al-Rebbe says, but the Mesilas never shown yet. We haven't answered that yet. Now, one of my questions is, she said this before, so I don't know what Oid Pirish is. A lot of problems, but we'll just read it and finished. Another explanation in the difference between this night or that night which is what we said before. So I don't know what it means by oit piddush. Unless you're just repeating it. I don't know. Shaloshin zeh v'hu koila laila. It's a different kind of laila. It's a zu laila, this or that night. Ima laila ho begilui zeh. If the night is in a revealed state, meaning shenirgush laila, at least we know that it's dark. Oisha laila behester, or the night itself is concealed. Shenirgush laila, we don't feel it. My problem is, amongst other things, this is Mama's word for what he said at the end of his paragraph Dalit. So I'm missing something. I don't know. I need to break my head and relearn this. But if now let's continue. Hey, now it really gets very deep, and it's a hemshech. It turns out to the Maimer, the Basi Lagani of Tavshin Memhe and Tavshin Chafei. So really deep dive, friends. Okay, here we go. Okay, let's begin. The Yuvans understand this by explaining that which is explained in many places. But Peter Shemaime, right? This is the statement that's quoted in the Basi Lagani Maimer of the Fidik Rebbe, starting in the Yud Gimel, and it's the subject of all those chapters: Yud Gimel, Yud Dalet, Tesvav, Tezayin, Yud Zayin. It's all on this Maimer HaZoyer to explain the Oitzer, if you recall, right? What's the Maimar HaZoyer? Ein Sof L'mayla, Maila Din Ketz. The Ein Sof, infinite light, is high without end. Ulamata Mata Din Tachlis, and descends below, unfathomably. Now, to remind you, if we wouldn't learn the Frierdiker Rebbe's Maimar at all, we would assume, what does it mean? Ein Sof L'mayla Din Ketz? That means God's infinite revelation pre-Tzimtzum. Pre-Tzimtzum. No. On the contrary, what this means is that the tzimtzum exists higher and higher and higher tzimtzumim, and this is what we're learning about for weeks and weeks, that mamish within atzmos, in fact, the first expression of God is tzimtzum, before Ein Sof. That's the Ma'alim Adin Ketz. And we explained at length, why that is so, because why was God's first expression containment and not revelation? Because Nisava, God desires a Dira B'tachtoinim, and we live in a world of containment and concealment and so on, and that's where God desires to be, and therefore his deepest and first expression is just that. So, now, continuing the text now. So the second half of the statement, below, that is not the power of concealment, but that's expression of God's power of revelation. God's revelation extends all the way to the lowest levels. It's a subject of chapters in the Frierdiker Rebbe's Maimer and reams of chapters in the Rebbe's Maimarim over the years. Just to remind you a little bit, one aspect, that even in this lowest world, the universe, there are infinite components, infinite creations. Certainly, if we get to the atomic and subatomic level, friends, there's no number. You should say the word infinite, it's not a number. You cannot. It's a pella, because if it's made up of finite components, there's going to be a number there. There isn't and cannot be. Cannot be. The number you're going to write, you're going to keep on adding it. It's going to fill up. Instead, you can represent it. There's not a number. Begashmis. So we see the infinite expression of God even in the finite creation. And there were the fact that the kayamim beish kamim, that life perpetuates endlessly without being diminished, and then there's the celestial beings that are not diminished despite thousands since creation. That's kayamim beish kamim. Min means that each creation regenerates and it doesn't diminish. Human beings are not diminished. Life, full life, another child. Huh? At any rate, so Lamata adin tachlis means, and I gave this diak, ein tachlis, there's no end, there is an end. This is the end. There's an end in the Mazda. It's tachlis means unfathomable. Unfathomable, that notwithstanding the fact that it's finite, we see the infinite eternal properties with infinitude. That's the unfathomableness of of the investure and therefore presence, tangible presence we can see of the Ein Sof, even lamata mata din tachlis. Let's continue. But Lamaila, the first statement in the Zohar, who Inyan, again, this is contrary to the way we would understand it, the way it was understood till the Fidig Rebbe's Maimer. Again, Lamaila Madin Ketz would assume means, and his infinite revelation is high without end. That's pre-Tzimtzum. That's the classic Ein Sof, that the Eitz Chaim begins the narrative of creation. The beginning, the Ein Sof filled all of existence. What are we learning? My bottom of Basilagani? That's way into the whole process. The Tzimtzumim before that, in Kavayachon Atzmos Ilu V'Olol, I'll just remind you that produces Yechiles, and another Tzimtzum Moed, another Tzimtzum Moed HaKol B'Moed, another Tzimtzum Pure Ein Sof, another Tzimtzum and Ein Sof that is going to end up being the eagle Ein Sof relative to fine lights, Ein Sof, and so on. We spoke about the square Tzimtzumim, the round Tzimtzum, and what all that means. So, all to say, L'mayla, it is the concealment, it's almost within God, ever and ever deeper expressions of his containment. Tracing back which the Maimon did for us, the power or the expression of containment within Hashem, higher and higher. Deep expressions of containment. In other words, closer and closer, or more expressive of his essential self. Conclusion is that God's by choice. For Eibush, it's all equal. Expression, non-expression are equal. He's not, make clear. All existence, by definition, self-expresses. That's what it means. Its presence is felt where? In that which is outside of it. Therefore, the Eibush himself is beyond this whole notion. There's no expression, non-expression. There's no outside of him. So the truth is, it's all equally insignificant per se, and it's all his choice. But why did he choose to express himself dafkin gvul before bli gvul, when both are equal and neither have to be? It's because of nisava dir b'tachtoin, because this is his chosen desire for the one he placed in tachten, you and I, and therefore his first expression is tachten. Kavayochel, the source of tachten, gvul. That's the ilui achad ilui behelem achad hel. Now, somewhat clear. Yeah. Okay, v'hinei. Now, something which is not said before, a nuance. Gam ba'inyan, this is a Mugga dikemaim also, which is significant because other ones were not. So here we can mamash be medayik. Now, we just finished saying, summary, the two statements in the Zohar. L'mayla madid in Ketz in general is containment. L'mata madid in Tachlis is the spashas, the revelation, yeah? We have to note, coming the mata, God's effusion, extension. Again, we pointed out that you see the infinite even within the physical world, the universe. This descent is also a concealment. It's assuming finite form and producing finite existence. The oil, if the Atzimtzum is bound up within God, and this level is beyond revelation. So what he's saying is this, that revelation is also, it's a hell. Because as the oil is bound up in the essence, it's beyond revelation. Essence built in Mizgala, essence is beyond revelation. So therefore, we can conclude the point here. The fact that he's being revealed all the way down, what is being revealed? It's all post-Tzimtzum. It's the projection even higher than the kav means a graded revelation. Even beyond that, which is relatively infinite, but still all of that post tzimtzum, all a mere glimmer relative to the revelation of God. So all to say then, we're saying that the itself is mispashat all lamata. Conclusion: it's only a ha'ara. It's only a ha'ara. But it's true. Still, on the other hand, given the ha'ara means a glimmer, because post tzimtzum, the zesher in sofu lamata mata. But the fact that it's extending is what? It's all expressive of God's attribute of revelation. Ispashtus. So therefore, okay, we're going to finish the sentence and we'll elaborate tomorrow. So what he's saying is like this. The essence of Hashem is beyond revelation. Beyond revelation. The fact that we're talking about the Ein Sof being revealed lamata means that the Ein Sof at its source is already the beginning of revelation, which is already a step down, as it were, from essence. Okay, we're running out of time here. We're going to hit the reset button and we're mid-sentence and get the whole picture of what he's saying over here. He's going to conclude with that Ein Echanam be true, the point that we said before, that the Ein Sof, the Mataden in Tachlis, number one, at the end, it goes through Tzimtzum, it's only Ha'ara, yes, but even at its highest level, it's Gilui. And if the Koich HaGvul is even deeper, because the Koich HaGvul, which is not revelation, is the deeper expression of Atzmos, even more than the Gilui. Bringing out the Mailer, as we've been learning the previous Maimer of the Mailer Adiketz. Okay, so words are floating a bit, but a general idea we get. Revisit Be'ez Hashem tomorrow.